Discipline conquers all failure. There can be no failure with discipline. Motivation is just a feeling. You're feeling good, you work out. What if one day you're not feeling good? Then you gotta resort to disciplines. That's why motivation, it's all about discipline. Doing things you don't wanna do, no matter what.
Yeah, we on your radar.
All right, so we're on week 4. We have, I started this challenge off at 248, 234 as of today. So this is week 4, we're starting. And the program, again, it cycles the same type of exercises. And you kind of go through the same set and reps. So if you look at week 4, we're back to 4 sets of 9 to 11. Kind of the same thing that we did for week 1. So after 3 weeks, the program kind of goes back to itself on the same week. But then what starts happening is your rep schemes change over the next couple of weeks. So like exercises that you're doing 9 to 11, like bench press squat, you're eventually going to be going up to doing, 20 to 30 reps, 21 to 30 reps. So it'll be a unique change. So let's get started.
When I bounce at 9:30 for my call, you should stay in here and continue to film his dumbass. There's a level that, we try to train at and see if he continues that by himself. I'm curious. Or if he's gonna take a few reps off, he might do that. All right, Billy.
You're not gonna warm up, nope. Never do.
This is kind of the warm up, I think.
I can leave it all the chances, make it certain. Yeah, I had to lose it, I don't find my purpose. Yeah, but I won't do that twice, it made me nervous. Let's get to working. I'm like, check one.
It has gotten easier over the last 3 weeks because you get into the schedule, you get into the routine, but again, I am down between 10 and 15 pounds. It kind of fluctuates. It's not that hard. The biggest thing is just cutting out all the stuff like no alcohol. It really changes the game, but it's not that hard.
Working so my mother get a rest, yeah. Working like I never knew I'm blessed, yeah. Every single day I feel the pressure. Diamonds in my eyes, I know I'm special. In the gym, I gotta get my reps up. In the gym, I gotta get my reps up.
Like they're doing a labor-intensive exercises.
Gotta get my reps up. Okay, ain't nobody on me shooting in the gym. So it's been on me, I always gotta boom. Everybody eat before I got my film.
It's crazy how it has gotten easier.
Yeah, it has. The cardio's gotten easier, yeah.
That's what happens. The body adapts to getting in shape.
That's right. Iron sharpens iron, buddy.
I love it.
My demons coming like a stampede. Trust me, man, I got it. I'm never out of pocket. We ain't never playing tag. You doubters are just nodding. Only see green, no wonder why I never stop it. While you turn it up, I just go up. I'm like a rocket, yeah.
Fuck.
While you turn it up, I just go up. I'm like a rocket, yeah. Pressure make diamonds. Every single day I feel the pressure.
So there's 2 reasons. It's called linear variable resistance. The further you push up, the heavier the weight becomes. So as the strength curve of the muscle fires from weak to strong, so you're weak here, you're strong here. By having the weight increase as the muscle's contracting, you build the type 2B fast twitch muscle fibers, which are the biggest and the strongest. So research studies have confirmed it. I actually did my senior thesis for my 2 degrees, same type of thing. Found out that you can increase strength and power by up to 30% and more, specifically on the bench and the squat. Plus, you can actually move the bar speed faster than free weight because there's no momentum. So that twitchiness, that boom, 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 where you're literally trying to throw the weight up, you don't have momentum of the weight to carry the load. So you have constant tension applied throughout the entire movement. Plus, at the top here, on either side, I've measured the distance with the tension scale. With this particular setup here, distance matters. So at the top, Billy's got 46 pounds additional on either side. So as he unracks it, he's got roughly 90 pounds additional resistance to this bar. Of course, when he goes down, that weight decreases, but that increase based on the muscles firing up and down, you get stronger. Build more muscle.
Discipline conquers all failure. There can be no failure with discipline. Motivation is just a feeling. You're feeling good, you work out. What if one day you're not feeling good? Then you gotta resort to disciplines. That's why motivation is bullshit. It's all about discipline. Doing things you don't wanna do, no matter what.
You gotta give it all you got, you gotta let them know. You are on another
Last one.
Ruthless, ruthless. Time to go home, put your game face on. Ruthless,
Are you up?
ruthless. This is the moment movies get based on.
Yeah, come on.
Movies get based on.
Mike will tell you that reversing your grip on an incline increases strength in your chest by 30%.
Upper pec.
Upper pec, 30%.
All right, I'm gonna go take my call. You finished training.
Giving up, no we're not. Yeah, the first step is showing off. Now we're here blowing up. If you never risk it, then you never know. If it's holding you back, you gotta let it go.
Come on.
You gotta give it all you got, you gotta let them know. You are on another level, you are ruthless. Switch it up, it's the new flex.
Come on, baby.
Ruthless, ruthless.
Sometimes you lose your partner, someone has to step in. Sometimes you gotta lead.
If it's holding you back, you gotta let it go.
Actually, it gets easier as the workout progresses. It's all mind. It's all in your mind anyway. Mind controls the body. I like to switch it up. There's some abs in there. Mike loves these. He loves to do these. Kidding. He hates them actually. Yeah, he fucking hates them. So I like to start with 2 scoops of the ISO, and then I also throw in the post with it, and I just drink it during. That's it, bro. Now I'll go get 2 more scoops of ISO, and I'm good.
The way I've already handled some of those things, if you want to eat a bar that doesn't turn into a rock after a month, then there's our bars. It's like, yeah, you know, there's always MSRP, which is going to be standard based on the retail partnerships. Like, so those are some of the arguments.
Nutritional value in the price.
I'm trying to find my shaker. Second part of the workout. Second part of the workout. So we started out and we had, we stopped at like the decline. So this is where we can start modifying a few things, right? So the decline dumbbell press is where we kind of stopped, and then the dips, close grip bench press. So essentially we're still doing multi-joint movements, and then we're gonna get into a multi-joint movement that emphasizes the triceps, hence the dips, close grip bench, and then the lower abs, Smith machine crunch, hanging leg raises. The decline dumbbell press we can do. I guess we'll just do it here. I know we tried doing the machine a little bit earlier, but I think they had it backwards. It's gonna be a little awkward just because I don't know where the leg supports are to be able to do it to where you don't slide, but get after it.
No excuse, she thinks that's bullshit. I gotta move these while loose. She hit like Brewski, and that proves you can't expect nothing but truth. I just be bumbling on you. I can't find the words to say what I want.
So the goal here when you're doing like a decline is really try and keep your shoulders in, your elbows in tight. Like if you start coming out here, that's where you can cause shoulder issues. Just because this movement here, you're already elevating, opening up the glenohumeral joint. And then if you internally rotate here, and then you're doing this motion here, it can cause an impingement. I think that's what I have going on is, I don't know what I did. I don't know if I was doing dips wrong. I did something where I kind of strain this a little bit. So this movement here should be down here to where you're pushing more down here, keeping those elbows in tight. Plus, when your elbows come together here, you get a much better contraction in the chest than here. You can just see this in here is a better contraction in the chest than this, right? Like that versus that, you're just much a better squeeze.
I can't find the words to say what I want to, but we got spring.
On my drop set, I'm actually gonna do decline push-ups. What you wanna do with decline push-ups is be up on like more of an elevated surface. So you're pushing down and away. So what I'm gonna do is keep that position with my elbows in close. Rather than be here, I'm gonna try and have the bench touch below my sternum. And I'm just gonna go till failure.
Top 10 radar, yeah, we on your radar. Never miss, dog, and that's on the...
Yeah, I'm gonna, you can do whatever you want for your cardio acceleration, but realistically, like if you're gonna do cardio. You can do flutter kicks if you want. You can do push-ups if you want. Really, it's just about keeping the heart rate spiked for cardio acceleration. And so for dips, we can do regular dips, but we have access to this kind of cool, unique machine here. So the nice thing about this is with the lever arms being like this, they can simulate the movement patterns that we want. And with the bands, the further I push down, the more emphasis you're placing on the triceps because there's more load applied. So if the triceps really become active, you're getting maximal amount of weight or load on the triceps. So I like doing these here. Really takes the pressure off the shoulders. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna superset my close grip bench because there's 4 sets and I don't wanna run up on time. So I'm gonna do the same type of benefit, utilizing the bands with this to maximize the load at the top. So as we said earlier, the majority of the load comes at the top the further the bands stretch, which is great because you truly get more force applied to the muscle when it's at its strongest. If you've ever benched, if you've ever done anything, doing half reps is always a lot easier. And the reason why is because the muscles are shorter, right? So muscles are lengthened here, but the more that I curl up, as that muscle shortens, it gets stronger. So if you apply more force, more load to the muscles where they're at their strongest, called linear variable resistance, which it just means more weight applied at the strongest point of the muscle's range of motion. And there's a lot of research done on it, but you'll notice too, what I like doing, even when I'm using the bands, is kind of get a more power, like a boom, like pop it. So speed of the movement can also maximize force applied to the muscle fibers. There are studies done even with abdominals, people doing abs, and they found that, where you can, which is usually at the beginning part of the rep range, maximum amount of speed and force activated way more of the transverse abdominis than a nice slow and controlled. So power plays a critical role in muscle development. So here we go.
Celebrating our friends and we gon' up there when we touch down. BYOD, shout out to my homies working sundown. I should call my sister for some custom gold fronts now. Soul already shine, I need no diamond, roll it, bust down. No matter how far, I can't forget the opposition. If you ain't been running front and side, you seen this competition. Wisdom telling me better slow down, my heart and mind conflict. I'm patient, ain't no free pass, and I'm paid a lot for my position. Gonna get it all in my core, high step is a layer. My life like a movie, just keep moving, it's a trailer. Shuffling in my
So with these particular bands, on either side, a little past taut is 30 pounds. That's how it's measured. Further that you stretch it, the heavier it gets. So I've measured the resistance with a tension scale from the base of the bar here to here on either side. It's roughly about 45 pounds at the top on each side. So when you unrack, you can calculate a range depending on your arms and how far away you are. You can range between adding an additional 80 pounds to 100 pounds of resistance at the top of the movement. Of course, when you go down, as the bands lose tension, the weight ratio changes. And so because the bands are still tight on either side, it's about 25 to 30 pounds at the bottom. So you have a ratio of about 40 to 60 pounds of increased resistance of the weight going up or down and fluctuating based on the muscle. And that's really that additional force. Like I'm weak right here in the bench, right? From here to here, this 50% of the eccentric movement from here down, this 50% of the concentric movement. They call that the sticking point. That's why people only go down midway, because they're working in the strongest range of motion. So when I'm benching, I'm limited based on the amount of weight I can do with free weight, because if I were to do a full rep on the bench is 135 pounds. At no point during this range of motion does the weight change. It's 135 up here, it's 135 down here. But this 6 inches, I better be able to get 135. So I'm weaker down here. So really, I'm limited as to how much weight I can really do, because I'm only working to accommodate the weakest part, which is this part. Up here, I'm stronger, which is why you lock out, right? But I can generally do more weight at the top. That's why people do partial rep training, to where they do this, right? They're working partial rep. And what happens is they usually overload the weight because they're accommodating the load for how strong they are. So when you have the varied resistance, the weight going up or down, chains do the same thing. I like the bands better because chains, you're limited to speed, right? You start pressing fast, the chains start flopping around, you lose control and constant tension on the muscle. The bands, you can go as fast as you want, they don't flop. So So that change in the weight going up and down and getting stronger and heavier where you're strongest and able to do more weight, the amount of just pump that you get, which ultimately leads to bigger muscles and strength increases, is insane. And I've been using the bands for 22, 23 years now. And you know, and I find that the older I get, the more value I put into the bands. That's why that machine over there was a concept machine from Blake Castle, the owner of Body Elastics, and myself, and kind of I helped him out with some things on it. But that's why that's so important, because now you're moving normal exercises in a bench fashion, squat, whatever, but with just the bands, which allows performance benefits that we've been noticing for the last, 6 months here, and it's amazing. So, all right, Smith machine crunch, great exercise to talk about here. So what we're gonna do is always, on a Smith machine crunch, put the safety stops, the safety racks, self-spotters, whatever you want to call them, so you don't get crushed by the weight. So one of the only true ways to maximize the force applied to any given muscle is, machines have a benefit. Free motion, free weights are always going to be kind of like the gold standard to working out. But sometimes having things on a fixed plane of motion or a guided motion allows for more weight. It's why you can do more weight on a Smith machine than you can on a regular bench. Plus it's counterbalanced. It's not, there's a little bit of slack that's given for the bar, so it's not like a true load. But because you're not worrying about the stability, in a lot of cases you can maximize the load. So this happens to be an exercise in which you can maximize the load on the abs. The abs are a lot stronger than you think. So in this case, what we're doing is a crunch is not a big movement. A crunch, you really just want to put your sternum right below the pecs where the rib cage comes together to your belly button. In doing this, put a weight behind my head. I can put a band, put a cable, but a lot of people don't understand the benefits of like what a Smith machine can offer. Because it's counterbalanced, I'm not necessarily holding the bar back and forth, but I can load up on the weight. I got 90 pounds on here, and I know it's not true 90 because, you got the kind of the pulley system here a little bit guiding the bar up, but you're maximizing the force. So what you want to do is you want to keep that back flat. So you want to push the lower back into the floor here, and already you're going to kind of get a crunch. From here, you don't want to grab the bar here. You want to use an open grip to where you're literally pushing with your palm. And from here, what you're doing is you're just crunching up and back down. So a lot of people, when they think hanging leg raise or knee raise, they do it incorrectly to where they're just doing this. Just pulling, if you look at me from the side, just pulling your knees up doesn't do anything for the lower abs. Your lower abs rotate your hips. They pull and posterior rotate your hips. So unless you're getting your butt up off the back of the bench, you're just pulling from your hip flexors. So you don't want to just do this, right? You want to get your hips out and up and away from you. It's been a minute, so let's see if we got it. You'll see I was kind of getting my hips away. That's what you want. For this, I'm just gonna forego the cardio because I'm short on time. Again, it's not an excuse, but life happens. So if you miss something, if you kind of cut something short, that's okay, it's fine. Don't make it a habit, but I have a few other meetings I gotta take, so I really don't have a choice. Because I'm not doing the cardio, I'm having very little rest, if at all, other than just to go back and forth. And that's one way to kind of keep the heart rate up with this program. It's a short movement. It doesn't have to be big. It's just about putting that sternum to your belly button, contracting those upper abs. And then, now we're hitting lower abs here. All she wrote, Lucas. That's all she wrote. Yeah, so usually around the halfway point, when you start seeing results, two things are gonna happen within the first 3 weeks. Is results are gonna be slow, and then you're gonna get discouraged, and you're gonna say, this isn't working. And I've already had one buddy who that's happened to, Comparing results with somebody else should never be something that you should strive for. It's yourself. Long story short, buddy who is doing this, not working out with me, but so he's gonna take up the challenge. And how much weight did you lose? Well, it's not really about that, but I've lost 10 in my first, 10 days, right? And he didn't lose anything. And so same thing, stop all forms of alcohol, stop late night snacking, really trying to follow the meal plan, but just not coming off. And that's gonna happen. Either your results are gonna come slower or they're gonna come fast. Now I know that my challenge starts today, starts this week. I'm halfway through and I've gotten results, I'm feeling good. When that happens mentally, you're like, and it happened to me this weekend. Some crumble cookies showed up to my house, I don't know how, and you know, I indulged a little bit, right? Because I was like, I can afford it. Now, that's fine. But I also know that that's how it starts. That's the setback that starts. It's like, I can have a little bit of that because you're seeing results, you're feeling good, you're justifying the behavior because you're seeing progress. But hang in there. You're halfway through. 3 more weeks of what you just done. Don't let it stop at the 3rd week and then just kind of plateau, because that will happen. You gotta stick with it and then push harder. Take things up a notch, because your body's adapting to what you just put it through for the first 3 weeks, so it's gonna be harder for you because now you're getting acclimated with the workout. I told Billy this morning when we were working out, it's getting easier, right? Yeah, it's getting easier, the cardio acceleration, but that's the point, that's the problem. Don't let it get easier. Push to make it just as hard as it was the first 2 weeks, first 3 weeks in the back half, because people will get discouraged, and I've heard it 1,000 times. I saw great results in the first 3 weeks, but I dropped out because I wasn't seeing them. Yeah, you gotta push harder. Gotta shorten your rest periods. Gotta make sure that less talking, more work gets done. That's the way you're gonna start seeing results, so get it done.